those of you who are expecting to see Jim Libby, I'm not him. I'm just Brent Hill, but Jim had planned on doing this program this spring, and he publicized it for a long time, and then he decides to run for governor, and then gets called away to a podcast debate tonight. So he's out debating for a primary debate for governor, and sends his regrets that he can't be here. But he did sit down with me, and we went over all his slides, all his postcards, and he has, it's hard to count them. He had a Buxton file and a Hollis file, and some were across the line back and forth, and the river and all. So he probably has well over 300 postcards that he's collected over the years, and it's not just a matter of collecting them, he does the research on them. He looks and says, what's going on in this picture, and that's what he did in this Buxton postcard book. And now with the Historical Society, we've been scanning postcards for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that, and we've got maybe about 225. So it was really good to take a look at Jim's slides and see some things that we haven't seen before, that he's collected over time. And we have a couple really special ones tonight I'll try to point out. But the question is, why picture postcards? It's because they're interesting history. Picture's worth 1,000 words, and some of these are well worth that. We started out with postcard boxes, and we filed postcards by location: Bar Mills, West Buxton. Here's an interesting one of the school next door. But we've been scanning them. So those 225 I mentioned are all scanned and in our archive, and we can present them digitally here very easily. Now these postcards, of course, came about 1870 and through there. United States postcards. And they were very popular for about 20 years, 1898, 20 years, 30 years, 1898 to 1928. It was really popularity, high popularity of penny postcards, and they were 1 cent most all that time. There was a few years they bumped it up to 2 cents, then took it back to 1 cent. And after 1928, the price has been gradually increasing. Now, who here has sent a postcard this year? Really? Oh, great. How much do they cost?
Oh, about 50 cents. Keep going up.
What's that? They keep going up.
Internationally, all right.
61 cents in July. Penny postcards are up to 61 cents for standard size. Standard size like this. And then the oversized one, I get oversized in the mail from various people from time to time. They're about 78 cents. So it gives you an appreciation for how inexpensive they were over time. And they also overlapped with the advent of printing. People were able to better print up these postcards with pictures, and German printers. Okay? Postcards started out with German printers. And they had the market. Now, of course, you get a photograph or an image or something, and you put it on a ship and send it over to Germany, and they work on it, they print it up, and they put it on a ship and send it back. So it wasn't very fast at first, and for turnaround, the Americans developed the market and were able to print their own after a time. I don't have good dates when it changed. But the Germans were also very good at colorizing. Everything early on was black and white, of course. That's all there was until perhaps 1945 or so. We started getting a few color postcards. But what really made them pop out was all of a sudden you get a colorized one. Everything stands out in nice colors. We'll show a few of those tonight too. 1905, 1915. That was the best years for postcards here in Maine. And Governor Oakley Curtis, he was governor for 2 years, 1914, 1916. He found that they're great to promote tourism. And so he pushed postcards with the state, and by 1935 they came up with a postcard slogan called Vacation Land. All right? It came out in postcards first. And it wasn't until the next year it was so successful as a postcard, they liked it and put it on license plates. But postcards were used for everything. You know, scenes, promotions, houses, people, all this stuff before radio, television, email, e-cards, and it even pushed out stereoscope images. I don't know if you remember any of those, the old double images you look at through a little viewer thing. We'll see a few of those tonight that got converted to postcards, because anything you had a picture of was fair game for postcards. Now, who did these postcards? I think probably a lot of different local photographers. This was, you know, right in their alley, but for some reason, I only know of one here locally, and it was this guy here. I don't know where he's standing. Anybody recognize him?
G. Bradbury, it says.
G. Bradbury, Gibeon Eldon Bradbury, Jr. Junior. This is not the famous artist, this is his son, Junior, or Lad as they called him. And we know that he was a postcard guy in part because some of his plates, his glass plates that he's using for pictures, ended up down in the MacArthur Library in New Bedford. And they were all scenes from Salmon Falls area that we helped identify. So we know him, we just don't know the others, but there were a lot of them.
So it looks like it might be a house though, because there's clothes on the line.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a house here with clothes on the line, but then you get this church window.
Yeah.
Looks like a Saco church. Looks like the one on School Street.
One on School Street where?
In Saco.
In Saco?
It looks like that church.
Oh, good.
Looks like the river's behind it, so it could even be up at West Buxton.
Well, it doesn't drop off like that, West Buxton. I was thinking Hollis Center, there's a drop off, but I think the building's too big for that, so I tend to go with Rita's answer.
But we don't know.
We don't know.
No.
Okay, now, we have postcards and we have duplicates of postcards. These are mostly all duplicates that we have. But the largest number of postcards that we've seen, both in number of different views and the number of copies and duplicates we've seen, are Quillcote, Kate Douglas Wiggins' house over in Hollis. And I picked out this one, it had some writing on it. One of the challenges with postcards is, how do you get a message across? You don't have a lot of space to work with. And people do a few creative things, and we'll see some writing on this. I think this is just, what's this one say?
Says this house is in Hollis, Maine.
This house is in Hollis, Maine. Good. I'm having a nice time here. Well, who wouldn't in Hollis? Good. Good. Yeah. So anyway, why all Quillcote? All right. All right. Dorcas members, you know, this was a Dorcas fundraiser. Okay. Kate would open Quillcote. The Dorcas Fair would be at her house, or it would be down to Pleasant Point, or later on over at Torrey Hill. But this was a fundraiser, and they sold these postcards to raise money. Now, 10 cents each. Okay. So I don't know how much their markup was. I suspect it was a pretty good markup. But it was 10 cents each, or 3 for 25. And this helped fund the Dorcas Society and put a lot of postcards in circulation. And I don't know, this may be familiar to some of you people. You know what it is? Well, it says so. Right there, it says so. This barn was built in Buxton. Kate had it hauled over to Hollis. It's a regular posted beam barn, but look at the floor. Postcards tell us a lot of history here, a lot of things going on, events happening here. Look at the floor, and that's not a floor you'd have your pigs on. Kate never had any animals, And I haven't been in there in a few years, but it essentially looks just like this. Kate would recognize it 100 years later very easily, and had a stage, and it was an event space. So she would have readings and plays and Dorcas meetings and quilting, and I've seen Jim did the research. He said the dance floor held 125 people.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a good space, and like I say, it remains pretty much like Kate left.
Brent, was that barn taken from another building in Buxton and moved? Was it part of another building?
It was part of a farm,
A
yeah.
farm? Yeah.
I don't know where.
Ah, interesting.
Okay. Now, before Kate got to Quilcoat, Rufus Porter shows up, itinerant painter, founder of Scientific American, and he starts painting away at the place. And at some point, I think perhaps Kate had the paintings restored. These Rufus Porter paintings, everybody know where the museum is? It's up in Bridgeton. It's really nice. I suppose Jan and I went up one day and they were closed, but it was our mistake.
We tried.
It's
We
worth
tried.
it's worth a visit. It's very good.
All right, you heard that. It's worth the visit.
Yes.
Okay, so I wish I had a color picture of this. I couldn't find one right away, but this is the way this is the postcard picture.
But, you know, that first picture that you have it's really in the bedroom, the second floor.
Yes.
Just so that you understand, it wasn't at the museum.
This one is color, and this is the hallway at Quilcoat. I took this picture, and you can see a little color. Now, it doesn't help these Rufus Porter paintings murals to be exposed to sunlight for 70 years, and then wallpapered over, and then the paste pulled off. But this is pretty much what you get. If you want to see some nice restored ones, R.H.R. Smith over at Torrey Hill, the accountants and stuff, they've restored their Rufus Porter murals.
This one was on the second floor, right?
Yes, this is the second floor hall.
Carly discovered that when she took the wallpaper off. And what was that, 5-6 years ago that she discovered that? And she was thrilled, and there's another big wall of it.
So these go back to when the Carlisles owned the house, and this was probably around 1830 that these were done. And this is not Quilcoat, this is not something local, but I felt you just needed some appreciation for what these murals look like when they were new. This is actually, of course, a restoration, but they were pretty vibrant and interesting affairs. Okay. Now, Dorcas Fair again. We've got a whole bunch of automobiles lined up. We've got a whole bunch of people there, and a lot of people came by railroad. It was a busy time. They'd run 4 hay wagons from the Bar Mills Depot up to Quilcoat to shuttle people back and forth from the railroad. And of course, they take this picture one year and sell it for a fundraiser the next year. Yeah. And I mentioned a lot of these early pictures were colorized in Germany, and this is one of them. I don't know how they conveyed what colors when they sent them over. They must have had a color list or something. Of course, the house is white now. I think the barn's still red. Do you remember?
It is.
Okay, all right. So these are hand colorized. Nowadays they do a whole movie by computer, and we don't think much about it. But it was a lot of work to do this stuff by hand, but it came out so nice. This one I need to mention. This is 55 Joy Valley Road, Route 117.
Joy Valley Road.
Joy Valley Road, yes. 55 Joy Valley Road. And this is just somebody's house, okay? I don't know who owned it at that point, or just what the year is. Certainly the dirt roads, this could well have been the 20s or 30s or something. The house doesn't look that much different nowadays. trees are different, I guess, but people would do this. People would make their own, take their own pictures and have it made up for postcards and have their own postcards sent out. It was a very personal thing, something you could do and share with your friends and coming. Where's this? Where's this?
Salmon Falls.
Salmon Falls, okay. This was on the cover of the Hollis Bicentennial book, if you're looking in 1998. And this is the Indian Cellar Tea House, so-called, right?
That's the original building, right? Not the one that now exists.
Right, so this, you look at the cars, this is the 1920s. Okay, this is the tea house before it was remodeled in 1946. And before it was moved in 2025. Okay?
That's a Cushman truck in front. That's a Cushman truck in front.
Yes, I was gonna, good point, I was gonna point that out. Cushman Bakery, so this is in the 1920s, and the Hollis, the Salmon Falls Library was out of sight here over to the left, and that's where the tea house was in the 1920s.
That's the old Alfred Road going
Yes,
up.
it is.
It's not.
Right, right, here's the old bridge, and this is the abutments the kids jump off.
Yeah.
Okay, old Alfred Road, and this is what it looked like in the 20s. It was probably a store at that point. At some point, late 20s or 30s, somewhere in through there, moved out of the library and over into this building, and then remodeled in 46.
Brent, do you have any understanding of the numbering on the lower right? And a lot of other postcards, there's always a number.
Yes, good point.
Do you have an understanding of that?
No, I don't.
I don't know.
Oh, shoot, I was hoping. When the postcard companies made up a lot of these, you know, if you were doing your own house, that was your problem, but if you, a postcard company would send out photographers or hire local photographers, and they would come up with these, and they would just write on the negative or whatever some number to keep track of them, and you see a lot of postcards that way.
Brett, that's number 31 is in the series. It's a whole series
Yes,
taken, that day or at that period.
right. Yeah,
So it's number 31, and number 32 is nearby, and 30 is nearby.
maybe. The other thing I need to point out is they didn't have a sidewalk on the bridge. Hey, what were they thinking? These two people are trying to beat traffic and get over the bridge 100 years ago. It probably worked then, but it's a little tougher today.
No Poland Spring trucks.
No Hollis spring trucks, no.
Yet.
Yeah, now we're into Indian Cellar. Now we can recognize this one. This is essentially the building that was just moved. And see this little addition on the end? That was added on for hikers. Indian Cellar actually used to be on the Appalachian Trail way back. They moved the trail. I don't know just exactly when or why. Pleasant Point Park on the Buxton side used to belong to the Appalachian Mountain Club. But they moved the trail at some point. They wanted to get it up on the peaks, up towards the mountains. They didn't want to be down on the flat land with rivers for hikers. But this was sort of the Ida Sawtelle era, and they actually had asphalt shingles here, and they did a fantastic job of creating the name. This isn't written on. This is right into the shingles here. And it looks like they had some little boating activity down the river.
I think the sign says boat rentals, doesn't it? On the right,
On the right,
under the windows.
under the windows.
Oh, yes, what's that sign say?
You're getting close.
I think it says boat rentals.
Snacks.
Snack stand.
Snack stand,
Oh,
yes, I see
What's the
snack
top
stand.
say? Something wrong.
Dining.
Dining room.
Dining room, snack stand, oh yeah. You didn't want to get lost. Okay.
They want the hikers coming through the front door with their dirty boots.
Yeah, with the snack stand, they keep the hikers outdoors. They get a little smelly after a few miles. Okay. Yeah, so there were two ladies that we have a book about this tavern in the town. The two ladies fixing it up in 1946 for a restaurant, and they call in the Hollis code enforcement officer, and the officer says, you're gonna have to cover your spring. You know, if you're taking water from your spring, you gotta get that covered over. And they said, okay, we'll do that, you know, fine. And you have to have an indoor toilet. And they said, oh, that's gonna be a little harder. He says, well, it's not too hard, just have the indoor toilet, just run the pipe into the river. Yeah, different code enforcement back then, or, well, different code, I guess. Okay. Now, what does it say down here? It says coffee house. So we consistently call it the Indian Cellar Tea House for the most part, but I just saw Tell was calling it a coffee house. Coffee was the in thing after World War II. Huh? All the GIs had coffee all during the war. They wanted some coffee. And the other thing, this was an automobile destination before World War II. People wanted to go places in their shiny automobiles, and so they go to destinations like the Indian Cellar Tea House and live it up on crumpets or what do you drink with tea? Some crackers. Now the real Indian Cellar. This is one that's very hard to date. I mean, there's not a lot of clues here. What's going on here, except that the river's kind of low, so it could be low and old, or it could be just low water conditions like today. But then again, here's a colorized picture. It says what? Salmon Falls, Maine, Indian Cellar on Saco River, and it shows the whole thing where the Indians could store their food, where the animals couldn't get at them from the land. They covered them with rocks, so the otters or muskrats couldn't get them from the water, and people didn't go here. If you were going up and down the Saco River, you didn't go by this spot. There were rapids above it, nasty rapids. You had to portage around this. So normally if you're going up and down the river, you never saw this. You'd have to come at it from the lower side of the river and then go back again. Good spot to store some. And this one is a little hard to see unless I zoom in. Here it is, and look at the people. You see, there's 16 people here. And they're all perched. They're all perched on some logs that have been brought in. I don't know how they got there. I don't think they came down from the land. And they had to have a ladder, I'd say, if they came by boat. But this was popular early on. You know, this image by the clothing is probably, what, anybody want to guess? Jim knows.
1870, 1880.
I guess a little later, but that's good.
1870 or 80? Is that what you said?
That may be, yeah. So it could be a little later too, but it's hard to tell. You really have to look hard at the clothing is the only clue. Now, my grandparents liked to go to Indian Cellar for picnics, but it was all just the trail alongside the river, because by this point the Indian Cellar the water was much higher, and it was gone by 1947. Now those rapids I just mentioned, here they are. This is a nasty section of the river. This is not far above Indian Cellar, and you have to portage around that. And this was a popular postcard. And it wasn't as popular as Gulco, but somehow this reached out to people, and the wildness of the river and all that. Anybody know the name of the rock?
Salmon.
Salmon, that's one of the names, yes.
Big
Big Rock.
Big Rock, that's another name. There's another one too. Gray Rock. Gray Rock, yeah. At least 3 names that we know about. And it was the bane of the lumbermen, because the lumber would hang up on this rock, and it was a terrible place to get out to and try to get logs off that rock. Very, very dangerous.
Kate fought hard to keep it from being flooded.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, Kate Douglas Wiggins didn't want to see it flooded. Cecil Clark wanted to build a higher dam at Union Falls. She fought him, but Cecil had been up to the legislature and had some connections, and the times were that they were interested in electric power. Who knows? I guess Cecil thought electric power was good, and Kate appreciated the river. And this bridge here, you see the bridge in the background. This is the pre-1947 bridge, which is there today. Okay, the bridge we go back and forth around is the 1947 bridge. This was there earlier, and the lumbermen are out there in 1923, and they're trying to get some logs away from the old dam and away from some of the rocks up above. And the guy comes up to him and he says, "Could you stop for a while?" And he said, "Oh, we're kind of busy here. Why should we stop?" And the guy says, "Well, we've got Kate's ashes and we're going to put them in the river." They're going to put them in the river right from the bridge there. So the lumbermen stopped a bit, and they had a little ceremony, and down she went into the river. So I don't know if she had the last laugh on Cecil or what it was, but there she was. All right, what's this place?
The old Bradbury house.
That's half of it.
Train station.
Used to be her house.
For 34 years.
Really?
That one was lived there for 34 years.
Nice,
And there's a new fellow over here that owns it now, Mr. Bell.
nice.
I live there.
Oh, great.
So there's the Burnham house before Bradbury, I think.
Yes.
The
It
black-
was a who house?
Boy's got it.
Yes, it was Burnham and.
And he's buried behind
Burnham.
his God over in the cemetery up there. I think he's 1812.
Burnham.
So we historically we tended to call the Burnham Bradbury house. Both significant families in the history of the house, and
I tell Rita it's Bradbury Burnham, but she don't believe me.
Rita Anderson's a Burnham, yes. Okay. All right. So the interesting architecture of the village, and I guess there's a long hall upstairs, right?
It was a boarding home.
Yes,
A
yes.
boarding
So
home?
it was a doctor's office at one point, but probably it was built as a boarding home, as best we can figure out, because, and I love this picture because, I don't know, maybe you like your trees.
A lot of them.
A lot of trees, but we can't see it, so we have to go back to the old pictures to see the house. And here it is, here's the railroad station, here's the railroad, and here's the Bradbury sign, and the name stuck. Okay, this was the Hollis Center Railroad Station, but after a while it was the Bradbury Railroad Station. Okay, they had the sign, the name stuck. Yeah. All right.
Could I interrupt 1 second?
Yes.
Your wife said it could.
Well, I always listen to her.
It was actually built as a boarding home because the train was right there, the station, and fellows would come up and work in the corn thing or the box factory. And upstairs it looks just like a hotel because it's one straight shot and there's rooms here.
Yes.
And when we went up the front stairs, there was a small room, and all the fellows that came into the home would put their belongings in that small room. It used to be called the trunk room.
Ah,
And I only know this from a lady that used to work for Dr. Wallace, and she's long gone now, poor thing, but she was telling me, my husband and I, a lot about the home, and that's why it was a boarding home and stuff, so.
well, thank you for sharing that.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but.
No, that's fine. We're interested in that sort of stuff. That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
The doctor died there, lighting a fire.
Who's this?
That's, Miles is his last name.
Yes, you got it.
Jeanette Miles' father.
Jeanette Miles' father.
I think so, but I can't remember his name.
Well, his name was Leroy, but they called him Roy.
Roy, yeah.
Roy Miles, and an imposing figure right in his domain there, right? He's the station master. He's got things under control, and he's going to take a good postcard picture here for everybody. So do that.
Does that station still exist in another location?
Could you
It
speak
does.
up, please?
I
It
wondered
does?
if that still existed
It
somewhere
does.
else. It does.
Yes.
Where is it?
It's down on 202. What is it called, the Highland Road in Gorham? right, you're on, coming down 202, and you know where the big sports center is?
Yeah.
Something like that, okay. And I think it's called the Harding Road. And then there's a fence around the house, and that, the train station, that was moved down to Norwell.
And it's still there?
Yeah,
It's
But the
still
windows
there.
aren't still there. Those
no,
are
no,
Gorgeous
yeah,
windows.
I know.
It looks like a house now, it doesn't, you wouldn't know that's what it
You
was.
wouldn't
Right,
have.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you.
Unfortunately,
Did I get that wrong?
yeah,
I got it
What
wrong?
did you say?
well, our house in Gorham was part of the it was an office to the Bradbury business out back.
I was gonna bring that up,
Oh.
my mother told me that as well.
Yeah.
Because
It was
somebody-
the office for L.L. Bradbury.
Oh, because Pauline said that that's how she told, that's what.
It has a roof similar to that.
Huh?
It has a roof similar to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, this is called a Boston and Maine roof. So the railroad started out as the Portland and Rochester Railroad, and they had a number of train stations, and the East Waterboro one burned down about 1911, and they started changing them out to the Boston and Maine design. Some of you may have noticed the old Buxton Depot, which had been set up on Long Plains Road there, behind some trees eventually, and the restaurant there at Gorham. Those are all that design. The one here in Bar Mills was hit by lightning and burned down.
Brent?
Yes.
Do you know when that was torn down or moved or whatever it was?
Which?
The train station?
No, I don't.
What was your question?
Are you talking Buxton?
What?
No, Hollis, which one's, what time
Oh.
is this one?
The only thing, according to Rita, the only thing left is the sign.
Yeah.
And that's down on the ocean.
Do you know what year it got torn down?
I know, I remember the train station, wasn't that long ago. Well, perhaps 1960, something like that.
Yeah. So that's when they're going out of business. Could well be, but I don't have a definite date on that. If Rita was here, Rita Anderson, she'd tell us all about this one, which is Hollis Center, and later Jim Brown's store there. She knows all these by heart, but it's certainly, what's this, number 98, image 98, so this was taken by a postcard company. I like this one though. This is probably not a postcard company, and it's two different images, and it's both Hollis Center, and then you have the Burnham Bradbury House here, and you have grain mill, the Farmers Union grain mill over here. But look at the train track. They obviously did a whole lot of work to get the train through there on this grade. But this grade down here, this is probably Cook's Brook over in this section, I'm guessing. And this is this 202 or is it a little bit over? I can't tell. Need to do a little bit more work on it, but these always, what do you got, one tree here? One big elm tree? Where are the rest of the trees?
Firewood.
Somebody got them for firewood. You take a look at these old photos and they're amazing, the lack of trees and what you do get to see.
Is that the canning factory on the left? Looks
Yeah.
like it.
Let's see if I can get that.
So look at that brown building on the left side of the railroad tracks on top. Yeah, that whole building right there, that's the
Yeah.
canning factory, isn't it?
Oh, here, okay, here, see this, here's a roof that just doesn't have sides. That was where they set the cans outside to cool. Okay, so you're right, good. That's the canning factory. Yeah. And the postcards, why not get 4 pictures for the price of 1? Okay, how economical can you get? From the Bradbury House, the train station, the Farmers Union, built by Frank and Roy Moulton, and then the Pythian Hall.
I can remember the Pythian one.
When did it go?
Well, when they changed the road configuration of the road around.
Okay, same time as the, whoops. Same time as the grain shop.
Yeah.
So Route 202 was rebuilt in, I'd say, mid-60s?
Yeah.
Didn't they tear that down after the car accident? The truck ran into it?
I've heard that. I heard there was a car accident.
Yeah, tractor trailer went through.
Wasn't even pulling the spring one
Might have
either.
been.
Yeah.
Those were nice buildings.
Nice building. Not too big. I mean, you see they're not too wide. But they're nice buildings, nice event space, and nice civic organizations that we don't have.
The Lions used the downstairs in that building for many, many years.
Yeah.
It was a great building.
When my mother-in-law came over from England, she got married in 1954, married the Air Force man and came to Hollis.
Yeah.
And they welcomed her. They did a big welcome dinner for
Oh,
the
nice.
couple. They had just got married in England, but they got their, Hollis welcomed them.
Wonderful.
And she had no idea how to count American change, and she was put in charge of counting.
Decimal system.
But they all loved her anyways.
Wonderful. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stories about this, a lot of good memories of these old pictures. Now, Jim thought this was a McKinney sawmill, and he thought it was at Hollis Center. And he did the research, well, it says Hollis Center on the side, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Portable mill at Hollis Center. And he thought it may be Charles McKinney. McKinney had one here in Bar Mills around 1907, somewhere in through there, after he sold the hydro rights. Why Hollis Center? Why put a mill in Hollis? There's not a lot of trees in Hollis Center. We just saw the pictures.
Not now.
Not now, not anymore. But there's a reason why we went to Hollis Center, and that was the railroad. Okay? He could bring trees in from anywhere to this portable mill, and he moved the mill around, but the railroad was right there, and when he got lumber, off it went on the railroad.
But where was the smokestack?
Right here?
Smokestack, yeah, wasn't it on Usher Island? Wasn't that the only smokestack around?
Well, this one was at Hollis Center. This is just a little smokestack for small steam engines.
Short?
They would have run this off slabs. They cut slabs off the logs and then feed the boilers with the slabs. My question is, where's the spark arrestor? Yeah, you're feeding green slabs into a boiler. You want a spark arrestor. Anyway, now you all know where this one is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Cook's Brook. Did it say so here?
Oh, that's cool. That was the
There's
first.
Hollis.
Hollis, okay. This is Cook's Brook. This is more or less a natural waterfall with a little human intervention here. And this looks like some board ends or something. They've kicked out the end of the mill that aren't saleable. But look, here I am in this beautiful town, enjoying sights and cheer. The scenery's great, and I'm feeling first rate. But oh, how I wish you were here. That's not only Hollis Center. This was fairly boilerplate for a lot of these postcards that were promotional. No, it's promotional cards, yeah. Okay. And L.L. Bradbury had this mill, and he ran it until it burned in 1917, and then he moved up near the railroad with his box shop. Anything else we should say about L.L. and his mill? Linda?
I don't know any more than what you just said.
Okay, all right.
I thought he rebuilt it and made it cooler.
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay. Now, who's this? Anybody recognize him?
George Missouri.
Station manager.
He's got his little cap on, and he's in front of A.L.L. Bradbury's store and post office. It says mailbag. This is George Missouri. Now, we've got another postcard or another image, say, from the Hollis Bicentennial book of George, ancient George driving an ancient Model T in rural Hollis, delivering the mail. Well, George was out there for a long time, and before he got his Model T, he had his faithful horse here. And People were pretty proud of their horses. This guy worked a lot, I guess. And what do they have in Hollis Center? Moxie. Moxie, yes. Can you get Moxie in Hollis Center now? I don't know. I don't know. Here he is, about to depart on his appointed rounds.
Does it say post office on top of the window?
Where's that? Up.
Above the horse.
Horse's head.
Above the window.
Post office. Right there. Good eye. Good eye. Post office. Yeah.
So Moxie's been around that long? That's-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's an old-
So what year was that roughly, would you guess?
20,
What's that?
maybe 20,
20 what?
1920s.
No, George was driving a car by then, an automobile. This was probably before 1915. This was closer to 1900 than
Before
1915.
1910.
Something like that.
Late.
That would be my guess on it, but I don't have anything that gives me a date on it. Okay.
There's Lloyd's.
Hollis Center Elementary School. This was a one-room school? You know that? I think it was one room. Yeah, Lloyd says yes.
Yeah, I went there one day.
One day. Learned it all.
They built a new school in '56, and they always had kids go to the school before they ended the year before.
Yeah.
So they get accustomed to what was, so I did attend one day.
One
But
day.
all eight grades in that school.
Yes. Yeah. And now it's a house. A lot of these schools have been repurposed as houses.
And the old school next door is on the left-hand side,
Yeah.
before this one.
Yeah.
And they moved that over, and they built this one, but I can't tell you when they.
Oh yeah. I mean this one's built about. I mean you look at this building. This building's 1912 and big windows. Big windows for lots of light. Same thing on this one. And we got bell. This was first class for its time.
No trees.
No trees. And I like this one just for the little flourishes here on the, this is Bar Mills, this is the Bar Mills Dam, but obviously they like the little ornamentation on their cards.
Is that the moon rising?
Is that the moon?
Yeah.
I think that's just an imperfection, I think that's just,
I think it's.
It looks like
does the moon rise there?
Yeah.
Really?
It's looking east, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
North.
I don't think they had the films to take pictures by moonlight. The films weren't fast enough. I'd say something happened to the negative. Now, everybody recognizes this one, right? It is where?
What's it say there?
What does it say? The handwriting is not very good. Bar Mills, Maine. Okay, Bar Mills, Maine. So this is just down the, this is what later became the canal leading into the hydro station. And this used to be sawmills until 1905. And then we had a pulp mill here from 1907 to 1915, something like that. But it didn't last long. Oh, and one thing, because you can zoom in on this, see what this is? It's a boxcar. It's a railroad boxcar. The railroad tracks went from the pulp mill up to where the rails cross the river by the old railroad trestles, old railroad piers now. But they would specialize, they would bring in logs and send out moist pulp on the railroad cars. And I don't know why this didn't last longer. Certainly people went to more integrated mills. There's one just about like this is White Mountain paper. Was the one Sioux Falls White Mountain?
Androscoggin.
Androscoggin, yes, that's it. Androscoggin. So two different pulp companies, and they just didn't stay around for long. But it quickly got replaced by a small power station producing Bar Mills. But look at that pulp. It's just scattered all across the canal there. And this one, of course, is the Bar Mills Dam. So people liked images of dams and stuff. And these at the top are called flashboards. And some of the flashboards are down and they're spilling water, which is bad, bad, bad. But, yes, but supposedly this is still in the river. Parts of it are still in the river. CMP took parts of it down when they built the 1956 concrete dam. They used this as a cofferdam to dewater the site for the current dam. And then they cut this down, and Brookfield's talking about cutting it down more if they give permission to abandon the dam. What happened? Did I miss something? No? Okay. We'll get there. All right. I said we had some special images, and Jim found them. This is one of Jim's slides, and it is real special. And as I looked at it, I said, this is becoming obvious. Everybody recognize it. Here's this. Bar Mills, yes.
That's the old railroad bridge.
Not a railroad bridge, no.
Not a railroad.
Here's the,
Oh, there's the dam.
here's the Cribwork Dam right here.
It's the old,
Rogers Fiber would have been towards over here.
look at that.
But this is not the current bridge. This is not its predecessor 1938 bridge. And this is not the predecessor bridge that went out in the 36 flood. This bridge burned in March 4th, 1880. March 4th, 1880, it burned. And it was innovative. It had a tin roof. How many covered bridges had tin roofs? But this one did. And the sawmill across the river, one of the mills across the river caught fire, and the bridge caught fire, and the thing dumped into the river, and part of it went down. It was quite the mess. And what's interesting, it's nice composition too. I mean, you got the person in the front here. I don't know what the circle thing is. This is
That's, you know what that is? That's from the
Stereo.
stereo.
yes.
Stereo card.
This is very likely a stereo card. I've never seen it as a stereo card, but it probably is a stereo card.
Brent, are all these pictures in Jim's book?
No. Jim had a postcard book of Buxton.
Yeah.
So all the pictures in that book were Buxton or Saco River, and a lot of these pictures I'm showing you are his pictures of Hollis. Plus I've thrown in a few more Historical Society pictures. And of course this one has the Hollis on one side and Buxton on the other side. But this one is not in his book.
Not his book.
Not in his book, no.
Wasn't that bridge rebuilt?
Well, so here's the covered bridge, and see these piers? It burned in 1880, and they built the new bridge, the steel bridge. 2 steel spans on the Hollis side, and 1 span on the Buxton side.
Well, wasn't, before the steel bridge, wasn't there a wood bridge? Because Renelda Sands had, we use it in our church
Yes.
calendar.
There's a picture of Ronaldo standing on the Buxton side as they're building the bridge in 1892. Now, I don't understand that exactly because this burned in 1880, and I think Hollis rebuilt quickly, but did the part of the Buxton survive? See, this is not covered over here. Maybe this piece survived.
That's where Rogers Fiber was. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So maybe that survived. I don't know the full story, but it's really great to see the old covered bridge. And this is the only photograph I know anywheres of that bridge. And like I said, these 2 piers on the Hollis side are gone. Hollis was responsible up to halfway of the river, which was evidently over around here. And Buxton was responsible for their half of the river. And Buxton piers are still in the river. If you go over there, you can still see these 2 piers because all these piers were reused for the next bridge too. Nice photo. And like you say, stereo, this is not a postcard, but this is just a stereo print, and they would have taken one of these and made it into a postcard. This is another older picture. This is probably 1880s too, something like that, of bar mills and the dam, and what was there for the little mills at the time. Okay. All right, we know this one? What is it?
You can buy it.
Who wants it? We'll auction it off. Minimum bid?
It's a nice bell up there.
Nice bell, yes, good bell. So this is the Bar Mills Parish House, and this was moved over there, what, 1911, 1912? Sometime in through there, Kate Douglas Wiggins had it moved in. It used to be the Portland and Rochester Railroad Station. They got rid of this one and built their own Boston and Maine Railroad Station. But this was the parish house, and you see it's been added on to. Is this, I can't tell the back too much, is that still the way it is?
No, there's an addition, but it's
Yeah.
a higher pitched roof.
High picture, so the back has changed, and then Gene Hebert built the Sunday school rooms on the other end of it in 1965 or somewhere in through there.
You can see the barn that went with the house next door too.
Yes, nice barn. All right, not there anymore. Nice barn. I don't know, is the road in the same spot? Probably. Yeah.
It was raised up. That's a lower picture when they first moved it there, but they put a cellar under the kitchen for
Yeah. Okay.
They changed the window.
it. Yeah, the both.
Now, this is not Jim's postcard. This is Historical Society, Depot Street, Bar Mills, 1884. W.H. Atkinson Confectionery left, Shepherd Brothers Furniture Factory Center. Now, some of you remember Everard Atkinson. This was not his store. And this wasn't his father's store. His father was Neil, right? Neil Atkinson. This was not Neil's store. This was Everard's grandfather, W.H. Atkinson. And this was his groceries and confectionery. They sold sugar treats, things like that. And these stores were all gone by 1905 or so. And they had fire, and 05 or 7, most of this burned down. But if we didn't have the title, we know exactly when this picture was, because we've got competing flags, competing American flags. And one says Cleveland and Hendricks, and the other says Blaine and Logan. So this is the 1884 presidential election.
Oh, it has their pictures on it too.
Yeah, okay, you got pictures? Which one's Cleveland? I don't know. Cleveland's on the left, Logan's on the right. None on the Republicans. Okay? So, anyway, nice. And look at this. What's next to the furniture factory here? You see, you got some handrail and come down the street. This was Depot Street. This was the main street to the railroad depot. Look how small and tight it was back then.
In between those two buildings, would that be the bridge?
Yes.
You've been looking at?
Yes, exactly. The bridge would have been right there, 1884. It would have been the replacement for the one we just saw, but the bridge was right there on those piers. Good.
Helen Betts has well, she's gone, but she had a complete bedroom set with the label of it that was made in that factory.
Nice.
Did that factory burn?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the furniture factory started as Bradbury factory, then got sold to the Shepherd Brothers, and then they sold out to Centrifugal Leather Company, and that burned. So Centrifugal Leather Company rebuilt, and then they sold out to Rogers Factory. So it's a convoluted history. We have a lot of corporate books upstairs that tell us the whole story, but it is a busy story. Now I mentioned these cards did everything. They did personal stuff, they did civic stuff, and this of course is greetings from Clark's Mills, Maine. Does this look like Clark's Mills? No. I can't make out Clark's Mills here. No? I wonder if it's a stock image. It's certainly got a nice river, but maybe there's something in Clark's Mills look like that. But
That was the mill pond, wasn't it?
That's what I was wondering.
yeah, this is a little bit too big for the mill pond. Yeah, so
Spring.
I don't know what's going on there. I think it's promotional license or something. Here's the mill pond. This is the Clark's Mills mill pond, and so this is the lumber company, and they've got a couple smokestacks here, you know, for their steam tower and stuff. But they needed the mill pond too. Remember why they needed the mill pond?
Float in the logs.
Bugs.
Float them in, float in the logs.
No, they couldn't float them down. The stream was a little small for that. They couldn't float them in, but they could bring them here by wagon and dump them into the pond. And if you dumped your logs into the pond, the bugs that burrow into the wood couldn't do anything. They'd be too wet. They wouldn't be too wet to cut, but it would keep them bug free.
Is that a wagon full of trees or something on the left? Or is that just the side of the wagon? I guess it's the side of the wagon.
Side of the wagon.
Hauled by
Oxen.
Obviously, it was doing heavy duty. It had 2 oxen on it, where the smaller wagon just had 1 horse. 1 horsepower. Okay. All right. And here's a Cecil Clark Christmas card featuring the Union Falls Powerhouse and the Stone Dam there at Union Falls. Cecil also had postcard versions of this too. But now here's an industrial site and it's a Christmas card. So, and this is something I got from Clark Coal. You're familiar with Coles in Dayton. They've been there a long, long time. Clark lives in Philadelphia, but came up to Dayton and gave us these series of pictures there at Union Falls. Here's some people out in the bateau, and they're getting these logs over or through the dam or something. But this is the only picture I know that ever has the backside of the powerhouse. And so this is the Cardinals baseball team, and I needed some more time. I guess Jim would know, but I think his grandfather, William Whitaker, is in here somewhere. Okay. Now here, this is pretty typical of the 1930s. I mean, I found cards like this up in my attic. Although I don't know if they're Buxton and Hollis, but this is clearly West Buxton. You were found guilty of the charge of not being up to date. You should have lived in West Buxton, which is a modern town. All right? This is a good promo postcard. If you sent this, people will know where you're from.
What would be the date would you guesstimate for something like this?
This is sort of 1930s, I think, from the drawing images and some of the languages and stuff. They did a lot of stuff like this in the 1930s. But here we have the Hilltop Flying Service in West Buxton. Now, let's see. Herb Short came back from World War II, and he was a flyer, and he wanted to get something going. There were other people interested in flying, and they ended up having a little airport up on the Hollis Plains, and this was their hangar. And they're incorporating some of the trusses in Hollis Town Hall. I don't know. I'll go and see what it looks like, but some of this building is going to be reused in the Hollis Town Hall. Well, unfortunately, the business model for the airport, they were mainly dependent on selling flying lessons, and there wasn't quite enough demand for that. So that only lasted a few years. I like this one too. It's clearly one of those, number 85. It was taken by a postcard company. And it's called the Hargraves Mill. Well, any other names for that?
Tracy.
Tracy, she's got it, yes. Okay, Oliver Tracy. Oliver Tracy. Oliver Tracy started out in 1866. And I don't know if this was actually his building or successor or what, but by the 1900 or a little bit before, Frank Hargraves, the Hargraves family comes up and they buy out the mill. And after that, it's known as the Hargraves Mill until he eventually sells the water rights to...
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Yeah, okay.
Is that you, Patrick?
All right, and so Frank sells out the water rights and he makes some money on the deal and he takes the whole family to Europe for a year.
I got a walkway on that bridge.
What's that?
There's a walkway on this.
Yes, there is, good point. Good point, look at that, sidewalk. Says own separate roof,
On the Hollis side.
on the Hollis side.
This is true.
Is there something there in the Buxton?
No.
This is Hollis, this is Buxton. So the dams there, we know it's after 1907, and it's before the 1936 flood. Decided to put a good year to it. I like this picture too because where it was taken. Who knows where it was taken?
In front of the library, that kind of-
Near the library, yes, on the steamboat landing.
Yeah.
Somebody went out on the dock for the steamboat landing and snapped this picture.
So there was a steamboat between West Buxton and Bar Mills?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's regular bearing lumber. All the lumber mills at West Buxton would produce lumber, and instead of taking them up those hills and stuff, they would just take them down to the Bar Mills Landing and put them on the railroad. Just like Hollis Center, the lumber companies like the railroad.
The boat also stopped on the island.
Yes,
They had dancing and stuff on there.
they had dance, Sunday school picnics. Yeah, we had the owner of the island, Rolf Island, came in the other week. She lives in Vermont, and she's a bolter, Smith and a bolter. Can't remember her name. But anyway, that's where she got the island, and she says you can go up there, but watch out for the poison ivy.
Where's the island?
Oh, it's
Behind-
further up.
Behind Town Hall.
Well, you know what Mrs. Bolton was?
What? The house is empty.
Well, I used to live across the street from her, and one winter I walked down, and I jumped onto the ice and then walked over to the island, and then I realized, nobody knows I'm here.
Carve your name in the tree, yes. I'll remember you.
It's above the railroad bridge.
It is.
Oh, okay, down Bar Mills way then.
No, it's behind Hollis Town Hall.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
island's
I
behind
was
Hollis
trying to
Town Hall.
find it, yeah. I
Both
could find it.
sides.
There's no island there.
It
She's
is.
a very nice
Take a
lady. She
photo.
donated some stuff
town
to
hall's
her.
there,
She
and the
came in
island's right
with
there.
Sue
I used to
Dunn,
walk over to her.
and they made some nice donations.
Both
I didn't have the heart to tell her her taxes may go up.
Down from the West Buxton,
With
that's
the,
closer to
with
the
the
Hollis Town Hall.
proposal to take out the Bar Mills Dam,
I've walked over.
that island's gonna be about 50% bigger, or longer at least, 50% longer a lot of times in the future. Not high water, but today it would be that much longer. Okay? All right, now, this one fooled me for a second or
That's a
two.
good one.
We know where this one is, but when is it? When? Any ideas?
Is that West Buxton?
Yes.
It was after a flood.
Yeah, right on. Look at that, we got a sharp group here. It was after a flood.
Is that on the Boston side?
Well, that's correct. In 36, the woolen mill, this mill went down river, and this is the Buxton side steel bridge. It went down the river, or it was destroyed. So, yet here they are after the flood. So, this is a little suspension bridge. Somebody's out there on the bridge. Wow. What, in 36, they had a little pontoon bridge for pedestrians after the flood with big warning signs. Pass at your own risk. Selectmen, yes. This one, I don't know if they would have had those signs, but this is 1895. This is the 1895 flood, and of course, Buxton Bridge stayed, and they rebuilt the Hollis Bridge as a covered bridge again. We have some pictures of them doing the construction on the Hollis Bridge too, with the steamboat landing in the background. Nice pictures. Yeah.
The
So,
house is up on the hill.
yes,
What?
some of those are still there.
Is the church up there?
No, this is the Hollis side
Oh,
here.
that's the hall.
Hollis side had a church up there though.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah,
good point,
Yes.
yes. There was the Hollis Christian Church, Hollis.
something like
It was
that.
an odd
Yeah.
religion.
I can't remember exactly. But there was a church and the parsonage right up there on River
Oh,
Road.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we got a few trees, not many. We got a few trees. Okay, and I can't go, this is Jim's, yes, this is Jim's. But this is the Odd Fellows Hall, and,
Harold Carl's daughter owned that house before it was torn down.
really,
That
yeah,
was a house?
Yeah.
So small,
wow.
tiny house.
Tiny house.
Well,
Did
had an L behind it.
she- Yeah, she get into tiny house regulations?
Outside.
She
Or
lives
zoning?
Well, that was built early. That's
Yeah.
another house.
Okay, so this is the Hollis Odd Fellows Hall. They bought the land in 1884 and they built the building in 1885. And Lee Hoagland has bought it a year ago, August. He's owned it for over a year and he's still trying to get through some hurdles on zoning. He's got through the Saco River Corridor Commission approval. I'm not sure where he stands with Hollis Appeals Board. But at some point, they had plenty of water, but now he's got to get water reestablished in the building.
Well, it just had an outhouse. It never had indoor plumbing.
Right,
No,
but
it
it had a kitchen and sinks and
They
stuff.
put in a toilet afterwards.
Oh, they did?
They did.
Yeah.
I belonged to that back in the seventies.
The
I
70s?
belonged to that lodge, yeah.
Yeah, it went right through pretty much 2000. 2000, I think, was the last of their operation. And,
What's up on the roof? Is that an eyebrow window or something?
Yeah.
Yes, yes it is.
It's not there now,
Oh,
right?
I see.
I think so.
Metal roof on
I don't think that eyebrow.
Not there now?
I don't think so.
It's got, the stage has a nice drop, what do they call this thing?
Canvas,
Yeah.
we have it now.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, right,
The
Brent.
Historic Society
Oh.
has the, what?
Good.
This is one of the curtain rods.
Oh,
This is one of the curtain rods from the stage, and we've got the stage stored out back, the curtains stored out back. There are several curtains, there's one still there, but I think we have a very nice one that the Odd Fellows gave
There's
us.
some nice, they fixed a website, and they're really nice photos of how it is now. It's not, some of it's not fixed up, but it was, I've never been in it, and it was astonishing to see how much original
yeah.
the tin roofs and
What
the
was
stage
stage
and the
that?
canvas.
What
The website of the people who bought it, I can't remember the name.
They have their own
Hoagland.
Yeah,
I didn't know they had a website.
I can't remember how I stumbled onto it.
Okay.
Look at the steps up in front.
Yeah, these were not the steps that I remember from the 60s, and they're not, there's no steps there at the moment.
Looks like
They
a
probably
roof
wouldn't
cover.
pass inspection now because I think they come up from all sides.
Is there a roof cover?
Huh?
Is there a roof cover over the front door?
Looks like it, looks like there's
There
a,
is there.
yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that's pretty.
And Brent, didn't we discuss there was a hotel next door?
Yes, the tar box, it's not in this picture, but as late as 1936, the building was still there. Whoops, getting ahead of ourselves. As late as 1936, the building was still there, but the Hollis had, West Buxton had two hotels on the Hollis side, and one was the
What are those
KLF Hotel, and
things
one
that
was,
stand up by the front, to the left and the right of the front door, near the corner?
that's part of the stairs, that's some sort of railing situation for the stairs, I think.
I think it's
Probably
just
a
a
windbreaker.
wall.
Decorative. Yeah, okay. And on the Buxton side, you can see this is probably 1920s or something, based on the car or whatever. And I don't see any sidewalks. I always look for sidewalks, but I don't see any sidewalks. And this young fellow obviously is one of the village kids. He's barefoot. Why wear shoes if it's not mud season? Yeah. So, and I have to. This is not a postcard, but I have to throw this one in because they're going to rebuild that bridge. That bridge is scheduled to be rebuilt. It's a 1938 bridge, and how are they gonna do it? I mean,
How are they gonna do
the surge tank is still right there. All these buildings are still right there. And this is the penstock that goes from the dam, the gates on the dam over by Boom Road. And then the water comes down through this square rectangular penstock into the turbines for the generator. And if they have to take the generator offline, suddenly all the water rushes right up the side of the surge tank here. But it's daunting to me on the civil works. How do you build a bridge around that?
Probably build a
Zoom
bridge
into
over it.
the penstock, and I think somebody's standing there.
Yes, I think somebody here.
No.
Obviously, they had a number of forms.
Some sort of pulley with ropes going up.
Yes, here's a pulley. Lifting stuff up and down.
A little walkway.
Yeah. So this is 1926, and my theory is my grandfather may have worked on this job.
But now, that house belongs to, oh gosh, the brick house right there.
The bank, Steve.
Yeah.
The old Casco Bank.
And that belongs to Stephen Capaldi, I believe.
See that wall? Yes.
And the factory's still in the background.
And so this is 1926, and the mill didn't burn until 38 or so. It's Buxton side woolen mill. Okay. Nice truck. Look at the size of that truck, huh?
That's awesome.
Didn't wasn't there a building there that?
There's a barber shop.
Yes, it was a barber
The
shop.
jewelry store was at the.
No,
That was on the other side.
The other side of the bridge. Hollis side.
Hollis side.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was a building
but there
there.
wasn't,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was
Barber
some sort of
Barber
a
shop.
jewelry shop or something on this side.
The one
Barber
that
shop.
was on the other side.
That was Stan Townsend's barber shop.
Yeah.
It's just down below the Masonic Hall.
Okay.
And a barber shop and a jewelry store on each side.
All right. I hope you like these. I'm running a little bit long on the program, but still living in Bonnie Eagle. Half used, forgotten my address. I found it. Now, this is the 1930s humor somehow. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but that's what they did in the 1930s.
That's cute.
Sounds like it should be in Minnesota or something.
All right, now, and this is a postcard. I don't see a number on it, but it's labeled the Old Capitol. And I like the picture because it's obviously derelict. You know, the picture could be 1900, 1910, I don't know what, but this was at the heart of Bonnie Eagle Village. This was a boarding house, a hotel, had a big elm on it, had a lot of activity going on, and yet by 1900 or so it's derelict because they cut off the old growth timber upriver on the Saco by 1871, and the lumber business starts going down, and then 1895, the flood. Remember, we saw the effect of the flood in West Buxton. Well, it took out the bar mill, the Bonnie Eagle Dam completely, and it was because the lumber business was down. They didn't rebuild it.
Was that on Hollis
This one
side?
down?
The dam?
Yeah, no, the house.
Yes, this was on well, I say yes. I forget where the line is on the island. This is not on the mainland Hollis. It's not mainland Standish. It's on the island.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so straight and through, every view, and so that's gone.
How
Yeah,
about
that's
how about Cook's Hutcher Cove?
It fell in.
Cook's Cove? Cook's Hutcher Cove?
I don't know that.
Okay. It's up Sand Pond Road.
Okay,
No,
no.
it's on the island itself.
This is-
It's on
Oh, it was on
35.
there.
Okay, on the island, the hotel, the post office,
Oh.
some other buildings are gone there, and I don't
That
know.
cellar hole is still there.
Cellar hole still there?
I thought plumbed into it.
Great, all right. You got out too. Great, even better. Yeah.
Everything, the roof line's so straight.
So anyway, this was elegant in its time, and here's, for example, here's a postcard of some of the old mills that were there. They weren't old when this was made, but this is an image, a drawing that eventually got converted into a postcard. But this is, the dam here would have been between the island and Hollis, and they would have at least four mill buildings and I don't know how many saws running there, and a real economic engine. Now, Jim had this one in here, and I believe it's a postcard, but it's his grandfather, Alfred Libby, in uniform, and we either have his uniform or one's very similar to it. This is World War I uniform. We also have World War I big pockets.
Yeah, we have one here, don't we?
Yeah, we have another one here too. That's a different one. I forget whose that is. But
That's crazy.
this is Alfred Libby, and I had it in here because Jim put it in his deck. And we just have a nice donation from Jim's cousin Adele in memory of Alfred and his wife Helen. I threw this in, just another Libby. This is Eliza Sands Libby. And of course, the building next door is the Eliza Libby School. And this picture is hanging over there in the school. And I put it here as an introduction because this is her brother. We just got this picture this year.
Nice.
This is Eliza Libby's brother. And Eliza spent her career teaching in Buxton. They both grew up in Buxton, but this guy got to be superintendent of schools for at least Buxton. They used to share superintendents of schools then. I don't know whether he was Buxton and Standish or Buxton and Hollis, Standish. But he was superintendent of schools around 1905, 1907. And then he went on to become the Department of Education, Maine Department of Education. Because back in the 20s and all, they don't have the big Department of Education we have now. They had him. Maybe another person once in a while.
You might not be having it now. I'm sorry.
Okay. But anyway, back in the 20s, 30s, he was it, and they didn't pass rules or regulations or anything like that. If they needed something, they went to the legislatures. They passed this legislation. Okay. And we're about done right here. Just a couple more slides. Willis Sawyer's horse. First I thought this was Willis Sawyer and his horse, but it's Willis Sawyer's horse. And this is Route 117 Buxton. This is Salmon Falls Road, probably. And you got to appreciate a lot of these pictures because they had their horse in them, and their horse was really important to them and their livelihood, and they were very proud of them and put them on their postcards. And this one is Willis Sawyer's home, same spot, probably about the same time. And who's this in the front lawn? I'm guessing his mother or grandmother or something. But
Where is this?
Is that Roxanne Eklund's house? Is that
maybe.
right? It looks just like
It
it.
looks just like Roxanne Eklund's house at 24 Salmon Falls Road. 24, is that right?
I can't remember that number.
Yeah, it looks like that house.
Joy Valley.
But
The other end.
this is not Truck Road, right? This is not
Not officially.
dirt road, but I just like this because it's a postcard and it's just a different period of time. It's just a peaceful scene. It's saying what's important to people with home and hearth. And it's a quiet time, and you can imagine if somebody comes down the dirt road, the lady's going to stand up and say hello because she knows it. Huh? Right? That's it. Okay. So that's what I have for Jim's postcards. Some more that we've thrown in here. Hopefully, I've given you a little flavor of what the postcards meant to people, how they used them, and today they're sort of remembered to us. But thank you. Yes. Who had a question?
I just said,
Nobody had a question.
I don't know.
We've got refreshments.
Yes.
What do we have? Betty will work out refreshments for us. And any questions though? No?
I have a comment.
We've run long.
Just a comment. Back in 2011, when we were making Saco River Indian Cellar documentary, we got some volunteer divers. I don't know why I thought we'd get any good images. The river's dark, but they found a Harley Davidson at the bottom of the river, and they traced it to someone in Westbrook. And somehow I don't think they were happy to find out that their motorcycle had been discovered, but that was pretty interesting.
Okay. And everybody knows Patrick Molson from Soccer River Media. And we'll have this on cable television and on the internet. Thank you for coming.